It's Backstage Pass with Steve Ryan. And here's your host, Steve Ryan.
How are you,
Hi,
McKenna?
welcome to.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm still tired from Europe, even though I got back a few weeks ago. I'm just still having that
Is
you
it jet
know.
lag?
I don't think it's jet lag. I think it's more like going from doing a ton of stuff for a month straight to coming home and having like significantly less to do. Somehow makes me more tired than being on the
Right. I know what you're saying. I
road.
I'm so happy to see you. I'm so happy to talk to you. I love what you do, and so when I had the opportunity to for us to get together, of course I jumped on it because I really wanted to talk to you.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. That means so much to me. Thank you.
The um the new song Monster and which I just love. It's got this groove to it that man, I just love the new song.
Yeah. It's one of my favorites that I've ever written, so that means a lot to me. Thank you.
You did what they called a fantasy drama video, which was kind of a longer form music video, right?
Hmm.
There's a monster there inside you that is begging to be free. I know what it wants, 'cause it's been calling out to me. Yeah, you might not believe me, I don't care, 'cause I've seen that monster there inside you, 'cause it's been inside of me. It's screaming out, oh, look at what you made me do.
How come you decided to do that with this one?
So I am such a firm believer in giving fans an experience. So every music video that I've made up to this point is connected in some overarching story overall, and they're
Yeah.
tied to the comic books that I have. And basically, the gist of my world so far is that I, as McKenna Michels, the singer, am not a real person. I am a fictional character created by, and it's my real name. It is my real name, but
Mhm.
I'm a fictional character created by someone named Michelle, who is a real person as well. But in this fictional world, she's an artist that, and in real life as well, she's an artist and she has cerebral palsy and epilepsy as a result of a stroke that she had when she was 5 weeks old. And in this universe, she is the creator of the McKenna Michels universe, that she basically uses this fantasy world that she draws and creates to handle real life traumas as they come to her, whether it's medical trauma or watching a friend go through something really difficult. And so this music video, there's another long fantasy cinematic music video I did for my song Born to Die, which is basically the backstory of the McKenna character from the Enlightenment album.
If you had seen the things that I had seen, you'd be here now for the exact same thing. I will get inside your light up right, 'cause I was born to die.
And there's also an entire Enlightenment visual album that ties in aspects of Michelle's universe and McKenna's universe into this long 30 something minute project. So, Monster is essentially the continuation of that story that's been set up over the past 3 years of music and releases that I've done. I'm a huge advocate for childhood abuse. I was taken away from my mom when I was 15, and she and I are on amazing terms now. We have a great relationship. I literally just got off the phone with her right before this phone call. And I'm fortunate with that because a lot of people that go through an abusive situation never have the ability or safety to have a relationship with someone that assisted in creating that environment. Um, but I talk very openly about it. So in this comic book, there's a character that's a dramatized stand-in of what I went through. There's some similarities, but a lot of it is fictionalized and all of that, but more just a character to represent what I had gone through as a person.
Was that a way for you to deal with and cope with the things that happened to you when you were younger? Do you think?
Absolutely. I think music in general has been that for me, but then the artistic freedom to I one of the things I used to do to escape my traumas was I was a cosplayer. I still am. I've been going to anime and comic conventions for about 11 years now. And that was something I used to do is I would dress up. And then eventually I found opera and pursued opera for a little while at the end of high school going into university. And really found joy in both singing and dressing up at the same time. And from there, I was like, okay, so what can I do to combine these loves together? And my manager came up with the idea of creating the comic book. But
Mhm.
for me, getting to have the comic book, but also tell this story and have this like dramatized way of portraying real traumas has definitely been healing for me. And I've noticed a change in myself from where I started to where I am right now with my ability to face my trauma.
Yeah.
Music is a huge healer for sure.
I knew about the comic books. I didn't know all of this backstory. It makes sense now, but boy, I'm a fan of the music, and so now I know about all this other stuff. But the McKenna, your music stands really tall on its own too.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh,
Yeah,
well, thank you.
yeah. You talked about the song "Born to Die,"
Mm.
which I love that song. But I was preparing for this conversation, I found this dance remix of it that is so
Oh,
great.
I might have taken it a bit too far. They found his body in the back of my car. You should have seen the way he cried and cried, begging for mercy with my knife in his side. If you had seen the things that I had seen, you'd be here now for the exact same thing. I will take the sentence in my stride, 'cause I was born to die.
It's so
oh, thank
good.
you. We
Yeah.
got to honor of working with Jason Nevins on that. We basically reached out to him and he's worked with some big names out there. He's pretty awesome. And so I was kind of a little starstruck that he was willing to work on my song. And I love that dance remix. So thank you. It's really fun.
Yeah. Last year you put out another song that I just love. It's called I Don't Know. And
Oh
man,
yeah.
I love that song.
I don't know if there'll be peace after the battle, 'cause I'm stuck in my denial, waiting for change so I can love again. It's hard for me to know. My mind won't choose to trust, and passion always made such a fool of me.
I was trying to peg you, and I knew about the opera, and so that kind of made sense to me with the way your technique and the way that you sing. But you kind of remind me of a kind of 80s, 90s alternative with a Kate Bush kind of spin to it, that in all the best ways.
Wow, that is the greatest I love Kate Bush. And
Yeah,
I
me
love
too.
how she's just so free with her lyricism and visuals and everything. She's so great. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, the if I could go back just a little bit to the Renaissance, we talked about the Renaissance, and boy, that is a really deep EP. I mean, every song on there is great, but it's so tragic. I mean, your lyrics are so deep, especially with like "Let It Burn" and "Tired." I mean, man, and now I know where you're pulling that from, and so I guess on that EP. I feel like maybe your music you're still healing from that, and that's what your lyrics are doing for you. Am I pegging that right?
Absolutely. So those songs that are on that EP are some of the first songs that I ever really wrote. I would say easily within like the first 10 songs that I ever wrote. And I found that during that period of time, I was carrying around so much profound sadness, resentment, anger, and I guess a sense of victimization of what I had been going through and was dealing with. And those songs, especially Ghost for me,
And I can see your ghost haunting every room, and I can hear your voice, smell your sweet perfume.
freed me from the shackles of despair. I was sitting there I had nowhere to put any of those feelings aside from like my therapist. And I didn't really know how to get through day to day. And those songs changed my life. Ghost is the reason I have a career because I had gone to record it and did a version of it that just didn't really portray the pain involved with that song. And I met my producer, John Mook, at Mozart's Coffee, which is, I owe them the start of my career. That's a story for another time. But I met him there and we just became friends and started talking. And then eventually I showed him this song and he's like, this is a good recording, but it needs to portray the feelings behind it. He's like, I couldn't gather from this song that this was about you surviving and healing from abuse from the way that you played this for me. And so that's how the entire Renaissance EP came to be, is finding a way to match what I was feeling with the music that was surrounding it and allowing myself for the first time to take a step into pursuing what I love to do but was too afraid to because of my own self-doubt and feelings that I was never going to be more than what happened to me.
Yeah. Which of course you are. But yeah. Is it easier for you to express that through a fictional character?
I think so. I think that what I generally say is that who I am on stage, who I am in these music videos is me authentically. It's who I am, but it's a part of myself that I have dramatized or played up or is a bit more gregarious than I am in real life. I'm an autistic person. I talk very openly about that as well. And so I am naturally pretty introverted, and who I am on stage now has taken me 6 years to develop because I am generally pretty awkward with my body movements and sometimes struggle to say the right thing, or I'll share too much. And then that's its own burden that comes with things. But definitely, I think the fictionalized character has helped me refine my actions, thoughts, words, and performance, most definitely.
Yeah. Is this what we're doing right now, this conversation, is that difficult for you? Is it easier for you now?
I think it's easier for me now. Something I noticed myself doing and watching old interviews of myself is I was just putting on this very I think I sounded like a business robot. Like I didn't sound like myself. I didn't sound like a person. Like I sounded like I was trying to say the right things or not say anything too controversial or whatever. And I think now I've kind of reached this point with myself where I go like, well, if they don't like me or if I answer a question weird, oh well, I'm just gonna kind of do that. And or if I like do something with my hands or if I like look off to the side too much or whatever, it's just kind of like that's just who I am. It is what it is. But
overthinking it. You were overthinking it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Definitely.
I wanted to talk about enlightenment because I've spent some time with that, and I kept listening to "Broken Like This" over and over again.
Yeah.
And you know that song? The music is, to me, the music is so happy, and then if you listen to the lyrics, it's like, well, this is kind of a sad song. They kind of play off each other in opposite directions, but it works in such a beautiful way.
Thank you. So. Something that I've noticed in just the way that my music comes together is a lot of and there's a song on the new EP as well, and we'll get to that, that's about masking and autism. And what I've found is that a lot of songs that I feel like are about masking end up sounding that way. where like
Hmm.
the music behind it is happy, but the lyrical content is darker.
Mhm.
And Broken Like This was definitely one for me because it was one of those situations where I was dealing with somebody that was very opinionated in the wrong way. They always thought they were right about what they were saying, and any counter argument to that was not acceptable or heard. And so the song was written in frustration. But with someone like that, you can't yell at them or be like, you're wrong, whatever, because they won't hear you. So
Right.
that tone of that song is disguised in this happy, upbeat message or so that it's more digestible to the person you're actually talking to.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. You know, and Survivor is another great tune, and to me, I'm kind of having this oh wow moment with you because now that you've told me a little bit more of the background that I wasn't aware of, all of these songs that I loved it without knowing the background, it's all making a lot of sense to me now.
Oh yeah, Survivor is a painful song for me in a good way.
I'm a survivor. Yes, I'm a fighter. You won't ever see me fall this time. 'Cause I'm a survivor. There's no denying. You won't ever make me fall in line. 'Cause I'm a survivor.
And I ended up bringing it to my manager and showing it to him. And he was like, "You need to meet Michelle." And that's how the whole comic book started, is through that one song and through my
Wow.
own pain and my own inability to get out of bed in the morning. Everything that started from Survivor, our partnership with the National Epilepsy Foundation, our partnership with the In Your Shoes Foundation, which helps families with congenital heart defects, all started from this one moment.
Yeah.
So that song is very special to me.
Yeah. But We Have Each Other is a happy song.
The only happy song on all of Enlightenment.
I know that's why I mentioned it.
That song is I'm not someone who usually writes love songs, and if they are love songs, they are tragic love songs. We Have Each Other, I think, is the first time that I had allowed myself to write a song about what it felt like to fall in love with somebody.
Kiss my lips in the pouring rain. Under the sky, take away my pain. Deep down inside, I know something has changed. So at least we have each other. At least we have each other. At least we have each other.
You
I love
you
that
sound like
song.
you were a little embarrassed about that.
Oh, it ended horribly. That relationship ended so badly.
Yeah, I get it. But the feelings were real and you were able to communicate it. And I think if you put that against all the other stuff, I think that's a beautiful story that you were able to do that.
Yeah, it's always interesting to look back on songs and know what they're about and look at the aftermath of it and go, interesting the way I was feeling at this moment of time compared to this moment of time. And yeah.
Yeah. But your fans that listen to that, they can apply that in to themselves in the happiest way too, without thinking about, well, McKenna wrote that when she was in love, but it didn't end up that way. You know, they're just going with it because maybe they're in love right now too, and that just it's happy.
I think that's what's been so beautiful about touring and being fortunate enough to tour and have personal interactions with fans is hearing their stories or their connections to these songs that I have my own stories for and I tell the story on stage and everything, but then them coming up to me and telling me this song is significant to me because this, or this song is
Yeah.
significant to me because of this, or this is my favorite song, and all of those things matter so much to me. And it's amazing what music can do to bring people's own stories to life, even if they weren't the ones that recorded the song and put it out there, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Who are your musical influences when you're figuring this all out? Who was your go-to?
So the one who started it all for me was Adele.
Yeah.
I had a spiritual awakening as an 11-year-old when 21 came out, listening to that album backwards and forwards day and night for months. I could probably still, and I don't want to do it, but I could probably still list out the track order on that album, like in order.
Yeah.
Maybe I have to think about it pretty hard, but probably because I haven't listened to it all the way through in years. But I love that album. And it was really reading the sheet music for it when I was in choir, seeing written by Adele Atkins. I was like, she wrote these by herself? That's
Yeah.
crazy. And I was like, wait, you can do that? I was 11,
Yeah.
you know? I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't know anything. And um, then, of course, I found The Fame Monster by Lady Gaga.
Mhm.
And the costumes, the theatrics, the lyrics of like Bad Romance
Yeah.
blew my mind as a kid. Or I don't know, but I used to listen to that song specifically on loop for days at a time.
Wow.
Days at a time. No other song, only Bad Romance for days at a time. And finally, Florence and the Machine,
Yeah.
massive inspiration. Florence Welch is a force to be reckoned with. And the Lungs album in particular, I still cry hearing Cosmic Love. I had the honor of seeing her a few years ago when she came to Austin. And that entire concert, I didn't touch my phone one time. I was sitting there like this the whole time, just staring at her, being absolutely mesmerized by her performance. And
Yeah.
so those three definitely are the three main ones that I
Yeah.
pulled.
Wow. That's great. That's great. Tell me more about this new project.
Oh my gosh. So Revolution is, I think, okay, so I've named each album after a period of history and they're chronological. So the Renaissance, then the Enlightenment period, and then the Revolutionary period is a part of the Enlightenment period in history, but it's towards the tail end of it, where, and what I found within myself too is this is the first time in my life that I've found that I am unapologetic about who I am and willing to put my authentic self forward without fear of repercussions. And I felt like the word revolution tied really into that because more than anything, it's a war within myself that I've been fighting to claim my authenticity as a person, as an autistic person, as an abuse survivor, as a bisexual woman, all of these things. Um, and so this piece of work is the first time I've really knowingly written about my autism. Especially the songs Never Satisfied and Queen of Venom. Never Satisfied is about the pains of having to go into society and is like Broken Like This, where the music is really upbeat, really driving, really happy, but the lyrical content is literally like, will I ever see the day when I don't care what people say and I don't feel so far away? Wishing I was someone else, but I just want to be myself. Like that's what you're hearing, but at the same time, there's this choir being like hyping me up and like these
Yeah.
drums going. And that represents masking to me of like
Yeah.
I'm hiding all of this when I go into the grocery store. And inside, I'm sitting there going, the lights are super bright. I can hear everyone's uh, little stroller thing. What are those? What
The cart.
carts? Yeah,
Yeah.
all their carts. I hear all the wheels. I hear the squeaking of the wheels in the aisleways of this grocery store. There were like 40 people, and I just need to grab a bag of flour, but I don't want to have to ask everybody that's there to move. And I don't know. So but all of that, I don't break down in the middle of the grocery store. I just kind of push my cart and I'm like, hi, just keep
Yeah.
going. But that's what that song kind of represents. And Queen of Venom is um, reclaiming my authenticity away from my masked self because I have a tendency to change who I am when I talk about what my interests are based off of who I'm talking to because I'm afraid of rejection, isolation, or being looked at as different or perceived as different. And basically where I've gotten to in my life is I'm like, if they don't like who I am, they don't like who I am, and that's just what it is. And I'm
Yeah.
not gonna change myself or I mean, listen, if there's a toxic thing going on within me, I'll change that. But like
Right.
generally, like if I am hand flappy, I'm not gonna hide that anymore. I'm just gonna or if I don't know,
Yeah. I hear what you're
stimulate your
saying.
yeah.
I
And
love that you're in that spot.
yeah, it's a very freeing spot to be in, and that's kind of what this entire project represents to me. And Monster is about and I'm so grateful that it's out and it's doing well, and it's been my best release to date of any single that I've put out, which has been fantastic and really heartwarming. And that song is about looking at negative traits that I've worked through in my own life be reflected in other people, or watching them make the same mistakes that I've already made, and sitting back and going, oh, this is not nice to look at from the outside, like these things that I used to do being literally reflected in a mirror in someone that I'm close to around me, and it's uncomfortable, but it's also uh allows me to feel better empathy for people around me of like what they're going through, what they dealt with when I was going through that, etc.
Yeah.
um yeah, so I mean, I don't know as well as about the end of the relationship that I wrote We Have Each Other about.
Yeah.
And then finding new love shortly after and not feeling ready for it, and finding the strength within myself to be willing to take that step forward with that other person. And finally, No One Else, which is about dealing with somebody who would constantly put me down, tell me I'm not good enough, tell me I would never make it in this industry, would never have a career in this. And um, finally, eventually, what happened with that relationship is I cut them off and I stopped talking to them, because it was beyond just the career stuff. There were personal things within that as well. And this is kind of a reverse love letter to that person of things I never had the strength to say when I was in the midst of that situation, but having the closure for myself to tell them off, I guess, but in a way that was empowering to myself. So
Yeah. Wow.
that's
Are you gonna go out on the road in the United States this year?
we are currently pitching for some tours, opening for some artists. I have been just dying to go and play the US, especially like I have a lot of friends and family out in California that have never seen me play a show, and
Wow.
that thing would be just great to finally get to do. Um, Almost 4 years into this journey, so
Yeah. What's the best place that you would like people to go if they want to, keep up with you and follow what you're doing, all the new stuff that's coming out, or, anything special that you want people to know?
ooh, okay. I am most active on my Instagram, I think, and I have group chats by country there. So if you're a new person and you send me a DM and you're like, add me to the US group chat, or add me to the German group chat, or add me to the Italian group chat, sure, I'll do it. And that way I send updates and memos in there. And then I also post pretty frequently on there. I'll put stories, I'll do Q&As and all of that stuff, and that's really fun. And then my Instagram is McKenna Michels Music. Michaels is spelled without the A,
Right.
if you didn't know that.
I did know that.
A special message I would say is regardless what you're going through or where you're at in this moment with your feelings, with your situation, no matter how hard things get, do not give up on yourself, because there are people and situations that have not yet presented themselves to you that need you in them. And there's a lot of love that this world has to offer for you, and you have a lot of love to offer the world as well. Don't forget that. Don't give up. Stay with it, and always follow your dreams, and never let anybody tell you any differently. That's what I got.
Beautiful. Thank you for saying that. You're in a
Thank you.
position where your fans, I mean, you have some influence on them, and for you to be doing it in a positive way, especially letting yourself be vulnerable enough to talk about how you got to where you are in your personal journey, is really special. I appreciate you doing that.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate you creating a platform in which people can come on and do that. It's really amazing and special and wonderful to to talk with you today.
Of course, I appreciate it. Hey, I'm right up to where I promised I would have you, and I've loved this conversation. Can we do it again sometime as you continue down this journey? I'd love to talk to you some more.
I would love that too. That would be so wonderful. We'll definitely stay in touch and we'll make it happen.
Yeah. All right. All right. You have a great day. Okay.
Thank you so much, you too, and really thank you for having me on today. It means a lot.
Of course. Of course.
'Cause it's been inside of me.
For questions or comments, email Steve at steveryan.songoftheday@gmail.com.